What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. We on boxing right now. Terence Bud Crawford versus everybody. Let's talk about it. So, Terence Bud Crawford, aka the best in the business right now. He just had his spectacular win over Earl the Truth Spence, an elite fighter in professional boxing. Regardless of how that boxing match looked, Earl Spence is the truth, and you could see it just by his willingness to continue to get up. Even though he was taking some serious punishment in that fight, he was like relentless in his pursuit to try to overcome what was just a fight he couldn't win that night. He wasn't able to make any adjustments, and he kept coming at Bud, which was playing to Bud's favor due to his elite skill level, that being Bud Crawford, and his power, his accuracy, his precision, and his uncanny ability to adapt and adjust in the ring. And because of how impressive Bud beat Earl, Bud, he was already pound for pound the best in the world on a lot of people's lists. Now, if you don't have him number one pound for pound, you're pretty much hating. And Bud now, what this did for him in beating Earl, he's now the money man, like when Floyd Mayweather beat Oscar De La Hoya. Now, Earl wasn't the undisputed pay-per-view king or anything, but he was one of the big pay-per-view stars, along with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Canelo Alvarez. Earl Spence was on that list, short list of some of the best or biggest draws there are, which is why he was the A-side. But against Terence Crawford, not anymore. Should they fight again, Bud would be the A-side. But more importantly than that, Earl was really loved by a lot of fans and a lot of boxers. He was a boxer's boxer, like Bud. So because of that, now you got guys wanting to get at Terence more than they ever have, which means cha-ching, Bud has a huge opportunity to make some loot before he decides to retire, which he says won't be too long from now. Probably won't fight for more than a couple years. But in that time span, he can make some real money, which is why I say it's Terence Bud Crawford versus everybody. Now, Tank Davis done already went at Bud, talking about how he could knock him out, and doubled down on it after he watched his boy Earl Spence get that beat down. And Terence said, even though he's planning to go to 154, he'd make an exception and stay at 147 if Tank wanted to come all the way up there to fight him, just to prove to Tank for two reasons. One, Tank brings in as much or more fans and money as Earl did, so that's another big draw for Bud. And Bud wasn't one of those cash cows at first. Now he has these opportunities, so he could make a lot of money fighting Tank. I think Tank needs to stay away from this dude. Tank is a soldier. I think he got enough power that he can knock out anybody, but the reach advantage that Bud has on him, combined with his boxing IQ, which I think is even better than Tank's, and Tank is a good boxer, but he's no Bud Crawford. I think he could get hurt in that fight, and I wouldn't want to see it. He ain't got to come all the way up there to prove nothing to me, but if he does, I'll watch it. Then you've got Keith Thurman trying to get his money grab right now. Now, we ain't seen Keith in a long time. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Keith because, in my opinion, Keith don't deserve a fight with Bud Crawford. He really don't even deserve a fight with Earl Spence at this moment in time. What Keith need to do is fight one of those young lions at 147 that are number one contenders, Ennis or one of the other guys, prove himself in a fight or two that he's still legit, then he gets his opportunity. Or go up to 154, do the same thing, because it might be better for Keith to fight at 154. Danny Garcia up there, give Danny his rematch. Show what you got, show you back, then you get that big money fight. Now, there's the Charlo brother, Jamel. He's about to fight Canelo. Bud recently said he now likes the idea of going up as high as 168 if it's to fight the winner of Jamel versus Canelo, because that would be such a huge accomplishment, one, for Bud to be undisputed in 3 weight classes, and for one of them to be 168, to jump up that far from 147 all the way up to 168. That's 21 pounds and become undisputed. Now, I'm a person that's thought for a while Bud could beat Canelo. I think he's a highly skilled boxer, a more skilled boxer than Canelo, and I've seen Canelo have difficulty with people who can just flat out box better than him. Not that Canelo, again, can't box, but I think Bud could take him, and now that I saw how his strength continues to carry, that being Bud, as he puts on more weight, he might can even hurt Canelo. Not knock him out, because Canelo got a granite chin, but he might be able to hurt him enough to keep him honest and then outbox him. So I would take Bud over Canelo, no question. Whether he win or lose to Charlo, if Canelo choose to do that, that's a big money grab for Bud, because Canelo draws a lot of fanfare, and I think Bud could win it. And like he said, he might retire after that one, go out on top. I don't blame him. And if Jamel should beat Canelo, which is a possibility, that though not likely, that to me is an easier fight for Bud. I had never been huge on either one of the Charlo brothers. They're no slouch. They're some of the best fighters in the world, top 20 for sure. You could say Mel is top 15, maybe even in some people's top 10. People who got him top 5 pound for pound, I just don't see it. He's been up and down. He looks suspect when he's on his game. He show you flashes of top 5, but when he's not, you question if he's top 15. So for me, he's somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. And I just don't think he has the skill, and I think he makes mistakes that Bud would completely capitalize on. And then there's Errol Spence, the elephant in the room. Will Earl rematch Bud, and where will it take place? There's rumors that Earl had to drain muscle down from 190 to get down to 147 to make that fight, and that he was completely drained. Now, Bud had to drain some weight too, so we ain't gonna use all these excuses, but we also know both fighters would benefit from having a little more weight on them. If they were to fight at 154 or 160, which might be even better for Earl, it could be a different fight, but I actually think regardless, normally when you get beat like that convincingly, the second fight, if you go right into it, it's worse. That's just what boxing history tells us. Bud will probably know all that Earl's bringing and beat him even worse. The only way I could see Earl making that a fight, and there is a chance, I think, he has to go against his heart, which is, I want to just maul this dude and run him over. Respect what just happened and know that Bud is ready for him to try to maul him over, and his countering, his accuracy, his precision, his IQ is too much for that. And he would have to just outbox, try to, which Bud is a good boxer and probably the better boxer, but you got to make it boring for Earl. In Earl's, the way he could beat Bud, in my opinion, you got to jab, stick and move, keep it a boxing match. I'm trying to go 12 rounds, win on points. That's it. Don't get aggressive. Don't gamble unless he looks extremely hurt. And just try to stick and move, stick that jab, and don't keep coming at him. Give him some different looks. If you can do that, box a little more like you did with my man Mikey Garcia, then maybe Earl has a slight chance. But more than likely he'll lose. I think Earl, though, the heart that he has, I just see him wanting to take that rematch. I would suggest one fight tune-up in between. But if he takes it, that's the strategy. And all of these are good looks for Crawford. No matter who he fights, all of those fights are going to bring more money than he's had in his previous fights. Any of them, other than Earl. And he could win them all. So it's Bud versus everybody. It's a good time to be Bud Crawford, especially when you like to fight like he does. So he should make some cash in the next couple years, and I can't wait to see it. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. You know I'm on YouTube, Instagram, at the Vault JMU414 on X, and TikTok as well. Holla at you.